Season 2 of The White Lotus outperformed Season 1, with fans hoping that the leading cast members would return in the next season. But after the comical demise of Jennifer Coolidge's beloved character, Tanya, they feel that Season 3 will have to feature new faces this time. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a few characters that could possibly return in Season 3, at least in the way Coolidge was recast as Tanya in the recent season. Stay tuned to find out more. Greg Hunt. In the White Lotus Season 2 finale, Tanya is convinced that Greg has hired various men to kidnap and kill her in order to grab her massive wealth. However, Tanya's doubts are never confirmed. It looks more possible that Greg was planning something, as Tanya found out that he had connections to the kidnappers. But The White Lotus Season 2 features the ending of Tanya's story with her untimely death. Characters like the two men that fled the boat and Tanya's assistant, Porsha, are aware of the scheme, setting up Greg's return in The White Lotus Season 3. In the middle of Season 2, Greg leaves Tanya in Sicily and is never seen again. Greg could easily come back in Season 3, trying to cover his paths while being pursued by Porsha. Season 3 could also ensure that Greg wasn't actually planning anything, with him dealing with the consequence of Tanya's killings. Greg appeared in both seasons of The White Lotus, so it would make sense for Season 3 to make him the series' only returning character. Series creator Mike White has even revealed that Season 3 could be at a political conference, and who can be better to appear than a higher-up in the Bureau of Land Management? Porsha. Some of the characters included in the Greg and Tanya crimes could return in The White Lotus Season 3, and Porsha is another realistic option. Before her demise, Tanya made her impressions about Greg clear to Porsha, and with Porsha returning to America in a safe way, she could very easily go to the cops and lead them to Greg. Haley Lou Richardson's Porsha was a fan-favorite character this time around, which suggests that the character could be getting eyed for a return. After all, Tanya's Season 2 return has to do with her popularity in Season 1. Daphne and Cameron Sullivan. In The White Lotus Season 2, Daphne and Cameron Sullivan are two of the major characters, but their story is divided from the Greg and Tanya drama. Instead of that, Daphne and Cameron mostly stick with their friends Ethan and Harper. Throughout the series, Daphne's marriage problems are disclosed as she explains Cameron's patterns of cheating on her. However, The White Lotus Season 2 finale indicates that Daphne cheats on Cameron with Ethan as a way to get back at her husband. This storyline is never resolved, which means that there is a possibility for expansion in The White Lotus Season 3. Another reason for Daphne or Cameron to return has to do with their business habits. At one point, Daphne mentions that Cameron's business partners are some kind of bad people, while hinting that there may even be some criminal activity going on. While this appears like an apparent story setup, The White Lotus Season 2 ending closes without ever expanding on this problem, making it a true story to continue in Season 3. If The White Lotus Season 3 is really about a political conference, it looks like an appearance from Cameron's corrupt businesses are too real to miss. Jack and the two men from the boat. They are smaller characters. If the Greg storyline continues into Season 3, Jack and the two men from the boat would be perfect candidates to return to the show. However, Tanya kills Quentin and two of his friends while trying to escape them. One of Quentin's friends and the boat captain escape, jumping in the water and probably swimming to shore. Quentin is also the supposed uncle of Jack, a younger man who was tasked with keeping an eye on Porsha throughout Season 2. All three of these characters could return in The White Lotus Season 3, explaining really what happened in the consequence of Tanya's killings. Abby de Grasso. Another group of major characters that were in The White Lotus Season 2 were the three generations of the Grasso men, Bert, Dominic, and Albie. Throughout Season 2, Dominic's marital troubles are highlighted, with the Grassos explaining that Dominic's wife and daughter didn't come on the trip due to the fallout of Dominic's sex addiction. But her voice is only heard on the phone. Abby de Grasso is played by Laura Dern, who is an important person to cast for a few voice-only scenes. Season 3 could even tell Abby's side of the story, making Laura Dern's casting more acceptable. A more out-there prediction for a potential return character to appear in The White Lotus Season 3 would be the character seen in Season 1 instead of Season 2. Tanya and Greg are the only two who return from Season 1 in Sicily, which means that there are plenty of options from the future roster for other characters to return. The Mossbackers, Belinda, Rachel, or Shane are just some of the characters from the White Lotus Season 1 cast that could also reappear, with each one having a lot of story that could be expanded on. However, the character is not revealed, but it seems like at least one character will return in the White Lotus Season 3. What's your take on this topic? Tell us in the comments section below. With that being said, it's time to end today's video. press that like button and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stuff. Peace out.